Hi everybody and welcome to Skill 2, the 1 minute presentation. We could also call it the Prospect Presents. Just before we actually hit the skill, let's just remind ourselves of what the 3-step plan is. Step 1 is to strike interest and sort. Where we book in followers, we've got to be specific, measure our success rate, keep our figures so we know how many people we have to ring to get the people to look at our information. Step 2, the prospect reviews the information. This is tools, webinars, videos, anything that we're using as the tools to give them the information, to give them the necessary information to be able to make a decision. Step 3 is where we collect that decision. And at this stage, we are always using a third-party mentor to close the person for us. It makes the things more professional and the success rate a lot higher. Does the photograph remind you of you? Does your phone look like a 56-pound bag of potatoes? Does it feel like a lead weight? Is your top priority just completely scanning for new prospects all the time because you've blown out people who you know? Do you have fear because you don't know the skills? So you're just looking on your past history. So you have a fear of bringing new people in because you just don't know what to teach them. If you've failed in the past, don't beat yourself up at all because it really isn't your fault. If you haven't got a good system in place which teaches you the skills and teaches you the processes and gives you the tools necessary to do the job, it isn't your failure. So do not beat yourself up. It is just a pure system failure, not your fault. You do have to have a system that teaches you all the skills because you can't do any job without skills. You can't be a plasterer without the skills. You can't do any profession without the skills of that profession. And learning to use three-way calls with mentors who are skilled and have already taught people to be successful is part and parcel of what we need. You need the right tools to be able to display the information in the correct way that answers a client, that a client really feels buzzed by what he sees and wants to join you because he's joining you, not anything else. And just always remember that. People who join you. Let's have a look at how the telesales operation works for any company. Telesales people get paid between £6 and £10 an hour. Then they've got a bonus structure on the number of successful sales that they complete. And if they're working, they're monitored very closely to make sure that they are working. And if they produce business, that's also logged. But they're also logged on the number of calls they make per hour. And that is vital in what they do because they know the more calls they make, the more success they're going to have. So why should it be any different when you do your 1 hour a day, which is a minimum that you need to be successful? It needs to be every day and it needs to be constant. And it needs to be focused on doing the right things, focusing on the main thing. So when you focus on the main thing, do not mess about. Do the work, make the calls, make yourself successful. If you could guarantee that your people would be successful, who would you tell? You would tell everybody. What we're going to talk about is how to create interest, get the prospect to ask for a presentation, guarantee they'll be receptive, guarantee they will look at the webinar or the Rise of the Entrepreneur movie if we're using that, get the prospect to make an appointment to review, actually get the prospect to show up for that appointment for the review, and get the prospect to think it is like an interview. Would that be cool? Would that be different to the way that you operate now? What you've got to do is work initially in your warm market and create an interest. And there are ways to do that. First of all, people in general conversation. Then you create the topic to create the interest. Then there are ways that you can drop brain freezes into your conversation and make statements of interest that you're looking for a yes or no to. It's like you're designing, like a bedroom is a designer bedroom or a kitchen's a designer kitchen. You've got to have a designer type way of creating interest in your business. And you have to know all of those techniques before you can be instrumental in building a big business, or else you're going to be talking about company, product and payment plans, which scare the hell out of people. You can ask people who've been in the business 6 months and they don't understand them. So how are new people ever going to join a business by being overloaded with details about things that are of no importance at all until they join? Let's have a look first of all about people in general conversation. What do we do to bring about a way that we can introduce a business opportunity to them when we're talking in general conversation? Let's look at people who moan first of all. And we have a lot of people who moan about health. Some people are professional hypochondriacs. And we have to be careful because we don't want people who love pity parties in our business, because if they love a pity party, it'll be a pity party all their life and you'll be coaching pity party people, and that isn't the idea of network marketing. We're looking for serious people. But when people are moaning about their health, just let them moan. And when they finish, just ask them one simple question: would you like to do something about it? That's a yes/no answer. If they say no, leave them alone. Do not even try to persuade them. Just think, I am so glad I haven't got to waste any more energy on you. But if it's a yes, let's just take them one step further. Are you serious or are you just kidding me? No, I'm serious. I want to do something about it. That's an amateur, and that's everybody can do that. But the professional can just take it one step further and say, okay, tell me a little bit more about this illness. Tell me what it prevents you doing on a daily basis. How does it impinge on your daily activities? Let them tell you. Ask questions about that. How does that make you feel when you can't do those things? Do you really want to get back where you can do those things? Is it something you're really serious about achieving if you could do it without pills and side effects? Yeah, I would. Very, very easy situation. Because once you've got them into a situation, you can always, the business, we always lead with the business. So whatever it's health or wealth, it's always led with the business. But it should bring you a customer or a prospect. Now, people moan about wealth, and they moan in various ways. A lot of people are in debt, and you hear people just saying, I can't pay my credit card payments. I'm paying £1 a month to my credit cards. Or I can't make the money last as long as I can the month. All of those situations arise in normal conversations. This economy is hurting people. So if you listen carefully, you'll hear all sorts of statements that indicate that people are finding it difficult. If they're in debt, wouldn't they like a pill that just gave them debt relief? Would that not be the sweetest pill you could ever give them? And just exactly the same, when they moan, would you like to do something about it? Are you serious or just kidding me? That way leads them and at least tells you, if they say, no, I'm serious. And that's all that you want them to say at that stage. Then if you're with people, but they're not moaning about anything, it's just a general conversation, and you want to lead them, then you create the topic. And these are just 3 suggestions. You can pick up many, but these are just 3 just to help you down the road. Do you think the economy's down the toilet? When people start talking about the economy, it's very rarely in a positive way. it's nearly always in a negative way. And when it's negative, it means they've got problems. So there you go again. They're talking to you about the things you want them to talk to you about. What do you think of the national health? Most people know the national health is in crisis. So that's another great talking point. What do you think our pension will be like when we retire? Very few people, 5% of the population, are going to have a pension big enough so that they can continue living the present style of life that they have, and not many people enjoy that style. So there's just three little ways that you can create a topic that you can step into with a question that gets them curious. Brain freezes. I'm just giving you one. I'm doing another. This is a skill on its own, but I'm just giving you one here that just gives you an opportunity to move into something fairly quickly. If you're speaking to single moms, I just found out you can try this in conversation. If everybody's talking, and just say quite loud, I just found out, and don't say any more, and you'll find everybody will stop and look at you. I just found out how single moms can earn more money working part-time from home than people working full-time. Single moms will go, oh, okay, but don't press it. You can change the subject immediately you've spoken it. This is a teaser to see if they're going to hook on. I just found out how moms working part-time from home can earn more money than their husbands do working full-time. I just found out how university students working part-time can earn more money than their professors. I just found out how you can retire on full pay after 2 years. I just found out how you can earn full-time pay working part-time from home. I just found out how secretaries or any industry that you're speaking to can earn more money part-time than their bosses. I just found out how you never have to go to work again. These are just, when you learn how to construct them, these brain freezers just flick out and just create interest. But always remember just to change the subject when you've said it and continue. Let them come to you and ask for some information. You drop it out just as part of a normal conversation, not the start of a sales pitch. Then we make a statement of interest. Are you married to this job, or are you still open-minded? Have you found the business that will take care of you and your family for the rest of your life? Are you open to running something alongside what you're currently doing if the numbers were right? Just throwing it out there. Would you be interested in a side project if it did not interfere with what you're currently doing? You can mix and match those. Those would just give you 4 that would sit comfortable with any single person. So just find a couple that sit well with you, open, and then just strike interest with them. Now we're dropping into the 1-minute presentation, because all that we do in striking interest is relevant to somebody asking, tell me more about it, or what is it? Give me more information. And now once they ask you that, when you know the 1-minute presentation, you've now got the prospect really in the palm of your hand. I can give you a complete presentation, but it would take an entire minute. When do you think you would have time to set aside a whole minute? They invariably say yes to that. Before I give the presentation, would it be okay if I asked you a couple of questions? Now realize that most people do not really know what they want. In this high pressure world, dreams have been pretty well crushed by the treadmill of just working to survive and pay bills. And this is our chance to let the prospect prove to us that he does really have a desire and that he's worthy of our opportunity. This is where the prospect presents and where you sort if you want them in the business. Remember, we are sorting, not selling. And this is just a potted viewpoint of the people that we really want to work with. We want to work with serious people, focused people, people who will organize their time. They're willing to make compromises. They're understanding people, people who trust us, people whom we trust, people who are coachable. That is so important. People who have big dreams, people who want a change of lifestyle. This is a process that weeds out the Victor Meldrews of this life. Would you like a business full of Victor Meldrews? I love moan, moan, moan. We want to cut out the complainers, the whingers, the whiners, the negative, the too clever. These are the people who are not coachable. They know everything. And then we're sorting out the dreamers from the action takers. Sometimes people can dream, but that's all they ever want to do because they don't really want to move out of the comfort zone. And we're looking for people who can dream, but then want to take the action to make those dreams come true. The first question that we'd ask, what are 2 things you'd do more of in your life if money was of no consequence? Just imagine for a moment that you had all the money in the world, all the money that you need. Now, just a tip here, write down their words exactly the way they say them and repeat it back to them in their own words. Did I understand that correctly? Remember the skill that we taught on the 4 secret languages of the prospect? If you write it down the way they say it exactly, it will go right back into their subconscious mind and they will understand it and agree and have immediate empathy with you. A few questions you can throw in while they're talking. What is preventing you from enjoying whatever they're talking about right now? It will be money, or it might be health. What would it feel like to say yes if someone asked you to go on a vacation tomorrow? That tells you if they've got total freedom in their life, money-wise, time-wise and health-wise, to actually go on a vacation. What would it feel like to be free to do? Because always ask the feeling questions, because people make decisions on feelings, not logic. The second question I'd like to ask you, I'm just curious, what might be 2 things that you would like removed from your life? Listen closely again to their answers. Write down their words. If they're struggling, prompt them. You know, one thing I've always found is good. I talk about an alarm clock, how I used to be sick of the alarm clock because it reminds me of work. Just prompt a few things. Do you love your job? Are you one of the 37% of people who love their boss? That means there's 63% of people who don't like the boss. Is that, if you had 63% success rate at Las Vegas on the machines, would that be good odds? The casino managers wouldn't like you playing if you had those sort of odds. Have I understood you correctly? Always learn the phrases that work, that go into the subconscious, that help them to understand and go along. Would adding whatever they want to add and eliminating the things they want to take out create your perfect lifestyle? Is there anything else you'd want just to make it a perfect lifestyle for you? Why do we present this way? 2 reasons. So that first, that the prospect will shift from feeling unfamiliar with what we do to feeling familiar with it. And once this sale is made, where they feel familiar, enrolling really is easy. And it helps them to experience how easy what we do is, because when you're good at this, you're just leading them in a conversation and they're talking about them and they love it. And they just think, well, if this is what this business is, I can do this business. But always remember that question, what would it feel like to have your ideal lifestyle? We found out their hot button, their why. Now we're ready to let them qualify themselves for the opportunity. Always remember to keep your posture, and remember you are still in the sorting stage. So just stay detached from the outcome. Remember, you and the team will spend a lot of time and energy training them. Are they worthy of what you are going to do for them? Nobody is worth more than your body, which is meaning nobody is worth more than you, so make sure they're equal to you. We're into the 1-minute presentation now, but we need to find out the numbers that they're thinking of, because we need to get that to highlight what they want. If you were open to a side project, hypothetically, what would the numbers have to look like on a monthly basis to make it attractive to you? You know, the numbers that could really give you the lifestyle that you've just explained to me, what you've just described. And remember, always use the numbers they give, because it's what they believe and relate to. Don't try and upsell them, because you might destroy their belief. And when you're using that sentence, use the word hypothetically, because it takes any embarrassment away from any figures that they might want to give you. When they tell you the amount of money, they say, look, there are 3 things that you have to do to make that type of money in this business. I'm happy to tell you these 3 things can easily be achieved. But first, you do need to satisfy yourself that you, as an individual, can do them. These 3 things will give you an indication if this business is really a fit for you. Would it be okay if we walk through those 3 things now? If you do not answer yes to all 3 things, then this business is probably not for you. If you answer yes to all 3, I'll be happy to proceed to the next step and provide you with some information, and that will enable you to make an informed decision. Is that okay with you, Far? Okay, great stuff. The prospect is being interviewed by you still. The 3 things. 1, don't change. Just continue what you've been doing all your life, recommending things that you particularly enjoy, films, restaurants, TV programs, or any other thing that just gives you pleasure. Can you remember when you were at school, there were things that you just had to have, the things that were in vogue? Just everybody had to have it just to be cool. Things like night trainers. Just talk to them then about what it was that they bothered their parents with. And so remember how you recommended to your parents it was cool to have whatever it was? Yes, that's easy, right? They've agreed. Give you a yes, number 1. Don't forget, you've got to end it. That's easy, right? Number 2, in the next 2 weeks, work with an experienced team to find a couple of people who want to pay less tax and make more money. And in this economy, we all know people who would like to make extra money. Isn't that true? Yes, number 2. 3, we work in teams. So would it be okay if we work with you until you are making, give them the figure back that they gave you, say £1,000 per month? Your business is solid and you feel really totally confident about what you're doing? Do you think you would like that kind of support? Yes, number 3. There are 2 kinds of people in the world. Most people get excited and want more information when it relates to an opportunity to improve the quality of life for themselves and the family. And then there's the other type who just can't be bothered because they spend all their time watching TV, surfing the internet and complaining. They only want to win the lottery, but you know, they can't even be bothered to buy a ticket. You know the type I mean, don't you? At this stage, the subconscious mind is saying to the individual, I want to be part of most people, which is the beginning. I want the information. That's what the subconscious mind is telling them at this stage. That's why we use this, because they're saying, I want the information. People have to be open to change. Remember how Apple went into a new area when the iPhone changed? It changed everything, the iPhone. Just give me a yes or no. We're just here. We're asking them just to make a simple decision. Because I don't like selling or pressure, I'm going to promise that I will not do either of those things to you. All I ask is that you view the information and make a balanced decision. Is that okay with you? Yes. After viewing the information, if in your opinion you feel, think or believe this will help, let them repeat back to them all of the things they said in their desired lifestyle, and you think it is a fit for you, you can just give me a yes. If on the other hand you feel that it isn't a fit for you, a no will suffice. You can give me a no, can't you? That's always ask them, you can give me a no, can't you? Because it makes them smile and it makes them feel as though you're quite prepared to take a no, no pressure. But at least the prospect knows there's no maybes. No maybes. It's a yes or no after viewing the information. This is how we're going to make them attend the follow-up after they have viewed the information. Before I send you the information, is it okay if I just ask you one more question? Yes. I'm just curious. What do you think of people who do not turn up for appointments? It just makes me so angry. Let them agree. That's great, because I promise that I will be on the phone at the appointed time to answer any questions you have relevant to the information you viewed and fill in any gaps. Would it be okay if anything happens in your schedule that prevents you attending? You'll call me and reschedule so I can reuse that appointment time. Time is precious and neither of it has time to waste. Now we're into the phone technique, which is just as important as when we're setting the information, setting the time scales and getting sure that they attend the appointments. If I send you some information, will you look at it? If I will you, this technique brings the law of reciprocity into play. The human brain is hardwired to obey this law. If I do something, you will reciprocate. It implies we both have something to do. I will send you a webinar. It takes about 20 minutes to view. When do you think you'll have time to view it? The prospect commits to a fixed time to view it. So if I call you back on, state the day after the viewing, you will have viewed the webinar for sure, right? Use that phrase. You will have viewed the webinar for sure, right? The prospect agrees. What time would be a good time for you? The prospect sets the appointment when it's convenient to them. That is so powerful. Would it be the same number I'll ring you back on? The prospect gives you the number again. That's great. So I'll call you back on this number at such a clock on such a day, and I will be on time as I promised. And what we're going to talk about is, and you state all of their lifestyle objects that they've given you, because that triggers why they're looking at the information you're giving them. They're not looking to look, is it good or bad? They're looking, will it give them the lifestyle they want? I have to fly. I have to be on a webinar in 5 minutes. See you on whatever the day. Be in a hurry. You're a busy person. Remember your posture. You are interviewing them. Why does this work? Because people are familiar with recommending. They're familiar with better nutrition. People generally want more energy. People want to feel and look good. People are familiar with most people wanting more money. They're familiar with the tax system, and nearly everybody would wish they paid less taxes. They're familiar with what they want more of in their life. And it's a personal assurance we give them about what they're unfamiliar with. Next week, we're going to talk more on posture. So get into this skill, build your business, have success, and most of all, the Maverick tells you to have fun.